Welcome to another episode of QLF. It is your boy Calabash coming at you with a couple more facts and tips that'll allow you to improve your gameplay in Marvel Rivals. I have 4 things here for you here today. We're going to keep it nice, short, and sweet. So the first tip that'll help you improve your gameplay in Marvel Rivals is called void watching. Void watching is when you rewatch your own gameplay to try to find out what you're doing wrong and, kind of like correct some of the mistakes you may have had in the past or previous matches so that you can perform a lot better in the future. Now, I definitely implore you to, watch your own game and see how you play. If you see that there's something that you're doing that looks like some bullshit, then you may want to try to not do that in other matches. Now, also, I implore you to go ahead and watch other people's games. You know what I mean? If you have friends that have their history open that allow you to watch their games, go ahead and watch their games too. See what they're doing. If they're better than you, or maybe even on par, if they're making mistakes. If you guys are watching each other's games and you're like, hey, when I was here, you were there. Like, this is what you should have done, or this is what I think you could have done better. Now, this should all be constructive criticism. We shouldn't be bashing each other or telling anybody that they played horribly, win or lose. You want to make sure you keep that morale up. The next thing that you want to do to improve your gameplay a little bit is play as your counter, right? If you are getting beaten by a specific rival out there in the field, maybe sometimes it may give you insight to play as the person that is hunting you. So I advise you to look into the eyes of your opponent and see why it is so easy to maybe take you out, or why there will be maybe times where you see vulnerabilities that you want to try to limit when you are fighting against your counter. So it gives you more insight. So again, here we talk about mindset and thinking about the game a bit differently. So I want you to think about playing as your counter or another character that may give you some more insight in how to play your character better. Now, here's a more important one on number 3 here is going to be button mapping. Now, button remapping in a sense, right? You guys are always able to go in and remap your buttons to be more comfortable for your gameplay. So I do think you should do that. A lot of the default configurations may not suit the best configuration for the highest output of that character. So I think that it's a healthy practice to go in and look at where the buttons are and what they do in the practice range, and maybe move some things around and shift some things to where you have access to that button at a better finger reaching area, you could say, right? So you want to be able to reach those buttons a lot easier. You want to be able to get to those attacks a lot faster, or you want to increase that sensitivity, which is a big one. Sometimes, the sensitivity is what gets a lot of people killed. So you want to make sure you look at that button configuration and go into your settings. On any game you play, go into your settings and see what you can change. Now, the last one, which is probably one of the most important ones that people will have the most to say or comment about, is don't give up after one loss. When you are on a character that you are trying out and you are doing okay at first, and you run against your doppelganger, or you go up against a team that just seems to steamroll you, don't let that break down your morale and have you crash out over one bad game. Sometimes that is a learning situation, and is a lesson that you need to know about before moving forward with that character. Now, you use it as a learning curve. Don't let it stipend your growth with that character just because you had one bad game. I really want you guys to push through it and see if you struggle through the adversity, right? And let's say your counter is on the field. A lot of people are like counter switch, right? If you're in quick play, fight through that and see if you can take on a situation where you're against your counter. How are you going to, how will you fare, right? So I would automatically, now in comp, I definitely think you should switch off if it's not something you can power through. Now, just because your counter is on the field does not mean that they are countering you. That doesn't mean that. Like you can have a Groot on the field, and Wolverine could also be your opponent, and he could be doing nothing to you. You could be unchecked. You could have an Iron Man in the air, and there's no Punisher to check him, or maybe the Punisher is there, but he's not checking him. So just because your counter is present does not mean that you have to switch. So think about it like that. Don't just bug out after one loss. Power through the adversity, guys. That's the best way to improve and to rank up, okay? You got to know how to lose to know how to win. Now, if you do these things and practice stuff I'm telling you guys over here at QLF, you too will climb. It's your boy K Bash. We're going to be hitting you guys with more tips here every week. So stay tuned. If you have any questions or want me to go over anything, let me know. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And good luck out there. Peace.